Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Vicky 3. This is episode 35, and we are about to have war with Great Britain. Yeah, that huge mega force that starts the game as number 1 in the world is currently number 2 in the world, and while we have moved up from 6 to number 5, this is a mighty task. They have a lot of support, a lot of allies on their side. For now, Great Britain themselves are down to just 44 battalions. 41 of those are mobilized. The British Raj is the threat. They are the powerful ones. They have mobilized 54 units. Meanwhile, we are doing well. We're not even fully mobilized as of right now, and we are the stronger player. What we are targeting: Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Lower Canada being transferred to us. What they are targeting: war, reparations, and to liberate Haudenosaunee. I don't know. I'm guessing it's one of two things, three things maybe. Could be like, say, an Indonesian territory, part of one of our states. Could be a Native American tribe that would be released as an independent nation. Could be a North American, like Canadian one. I'd say it's one of those. For sure, I don't know. Can't be huge. Be awfully small. They're not targeting much, which means hell yeah on the... That's going to be easy. Not much of a threat that we're facing. And we already face a huge advantage in the northern border. And then we face 100% domination of the actual target as we kind of push through there. Plus, we potentially have, which right now Russia is not sending anyone to the front. They've joined the war, but for now they do nothing. We can see we're rapidly experiencing mobilization of troops, though. I have already added a couple of generals. One of them, though, for now, I can't seem to get onto a front. Let's see if that has changed. Nation at 64%. And no, we have an Indonesian general. And we can't seem to get him out there, even though we have a strong navy. Maybe that's something I need to employ, is that navy. Yeah, it looks like British Raj is trying to bring forces in from here, so we're going to try to send them to help with that. For now, the war continues to progress in the direction of it, and they're fearful, but maybe not to the extent of not wanting to be in the war type thing. Entering the final phase. And war has broken out, and I'm happy for this. We would have had Idaho alone. What we stand to gain, so much better. So much better. But now we've got to carry on with the war. But with a 100%, we're going to very quickly take our war goals. Two more units on the way here on the northern front, but that western front is going to be all ours. Oh, allies. Russia! Russia has made it down. They are going to help us conquer our Oceania fronts. So they didn't bother with Canada. And look at that, rapid. And meanwhile, we are also quickly rolling through what is the actual physical target of the war. And we're already +5 in war score. Ooh, in the Democratic Party, 100%. Well, that's not good. You can see we are quickly conquering British Columbia. 46,000 dead, but 29,000 of that is Russian attrition. 5,000 of that is Russian battle. So for us, we have just 12,000 in attrition. So we're doing much better in terms of losses. Now, we want these goals. So what is our score going to have to be to make that happen? Well, for now, we're at a -240. -240 to achieve all of our goals. That's the target. That's the aim. We've already made gains in Toronto. We already hold most of Idaho. And once we quickly roll through there, that's going to make us even stronger on this front. And meanwhile, war score quickly going in our favor. Speaking of going in our favor, it's at -214 now. what is the ticking war score like? For us, minus 0.28, very little in terms of more than just the base decay. And on the other side, a minus 2.91 weekly. It's dropping really quick, and that's because we hold the war goal, and they have a very radical population. We are not constructing anything right now, but it's helping us keep a positive balance. But I don't mind doing a little project, like, say, some coal. We could do coal briefly. Yeah, even with that going, we still have a positive balance. Washington is now fully under our control, and Idaho will be soon as well. Or sorry, Oregon. Idaho already is. And there you go. Now we are pushing into modern British Columbia. We're not gaining rapidly on this front, but we are definitely gaining. Don't need to hold all of it, I don't think, anyway. Not at this rate. I mean, the way the war score is going, we seem to have this under control. And Britain didn't magically have a bunch of additional forces, as we are now taking Vancouver Island. And Vancouver Island is now held. Oh, Russia has joined us on the front here. Nearly got British Columbia fully conquered, and meanwhile Russia is rapidly taking Australia under its control. Not any longer, but we're also seeing rapid colonization, or rapid control of the northern part of New Zealand, and whatever was down here has already been taken. And the UK's war score is down to a 0. Exhaustion already quite high. Again, the decay almost 3 per week. So on the make peace side, all goals are checked. We're down to a minus 75. So we are winning this war, folks, sooner rather than later, with 30,000 dead. Overall, Russia, 110k dead from attrition alone, 14 in battle. We haven't lost any in battle, really? Okay, we're losing some in battle now. I'm assuming this is a battle on the northern front. Oh, and Russia is beginning to invade as well. Yeah, there's a sign of your strength. We have a single unit here versus 3 units for Lower Canada, and we still have an advantage. That's how much stronger we are compared to them. This is Russia alone, gaining in Newfoundland. I admit my Canadian geography is marginal. And we have 2 units. What happened to our 3rd unit? Because I don't see them. And they are still apparently on the Alaska-Ontario front. France wants a trade agreement. We'll take it. I'm guessing they're going to cancel it as soon as this war is over. -1. Folks, we've nearly done it. Alright, so Great Britain is proposing. They just got to it first. The moment we are in this state, they want the war over. All parties agree to the deal, which is us getting everything we asked for. And there you go. We have, wow, what a huge expansion. I mean, Lower Canada, now Quebec, is most of Canada. And then, of course, we got the remaining interests of the American portion of the Columbia Territory, or Oregon Territory, as it was also known as. I know we have one colony to establish here in Idaho. We'll finish closing that out. And this is going to give us a peace deal that should last 5 years. But we are notorious. That's 54. But we are so much stronger than we were. We're up to 110 battalions, 1,080 in strength. Why not keep going, right? I mean, who's going to stand in our way if we attack Mexico? December 25th, though. Let's see how some of this decays in the next little bit. We'll have to get it down at least somewhat before we go into our next war. But Quebec is demanding independence. Most definitely not. We could annex them through war, and it would actually only be a small gain in infamy, 7.4. So we could annex them pretty quick. So new update on the rankings now that we have beaten Great Britain in war, and you can see that they have not only fallen from number 2 to number 3, But they've also fallen behind Great Qing, only just in terms of prestige. And our prestige has jumped from the 900s to nearly 1200 now. We're still fifth, but we are closing in on Russia, closing in on Great Britain. And our GDP, which was surprisingly, we'd cut the gap to 25 million recently. We've now cut the gap to 10 million, and we are on the verge of topping 100 million, which has also just eclipsed both Russia and France recently. British Raj, for whatever reason, is crazy strong though. Gotta watch out for them. We didn't really see them pop up in the war. We're at 30 million for the population, so that's still a ways behind. But Great Britain, 38 million right now. We're not that far behind. I would love to get a government in place that could pass some laws regarding healthcare, because we have nothing right now, and that could really turn the tide in terms of a big population boom for our country. Tech is the other way to make that happen, which means if we want tech to really take off, I've already done some expansions of it, but we only have 19 universities total right now, so we're gonna see a big university boom in our country here. I'm so excited by the expansion that we've been able to make here. It's been what, a year since the war, just about. We're almost below that 50. Mexico, yeah, the attack on Mexico is coming pretty dang soon. Things have taken a big turn when it came to Great Britain. We were in conflict over the Northwest. The split, now that we have the normal portion of the United States, and now that we have, the only players that were involved in Canada outside of themselves, they're suddenly just cautious towards us. They're threatened by our infamy, but outside of that, yeah, things are actually looking pretty dang good. We could begin to make more favorable relations with them, and let's go for it. They aren't a big threat, but they could become a big threat again one day. We've definitely weakened them. Central planning is unlocked. That's a plus 25 to taxation capacity. I think that's going to bring in even more money for us. But meanwhile, I just noticed that the Statue of Liberty is available for us to build as we hold New York. So our infamy is down to a 42. Now, going after Mexico is not going to be the easiest one, because it's going to push us above, but I have a feeling that they're just going to cave and give us California, and we're not even going to see a full war here, but we're going to start. I'm assuming that, to get these 4, even if we just take these 4 for now, it's going to be high on the infamy side for us, but we brought it down by a dozen so far. California alone just kind of puts us right back where we were with that. We're looking at 38 infamy to take the 4 states that should be part of the U.S. I think we kind of want to stop at that for now. That's a lot of infamy. I'm not going to push beyond that, but let's see kind of what other options are there out here. I'm guessing there's no war. Okay, we can add in things like war reparations to make it worthwhile, make them kind of pay for the war. Beat them up and then pay for it, right? That's the way to go. They have a claim on Texas. We can get them to revoke that. And while they want to liberate Deseret and Panama, the war is beginning to progress. Let's go ahead and set up our front in case this thing does go to war. Oh, I lost all my generals. They passed away. Robert E. Lee is gone. It's 1872, and no more Robert E. Lee. And Sherman's kind of useless where he's located. Okay, they are bringing units enough that we're going to want another general for sure. Jackson and Grant are both available. For now, they have not backed down, which again, I'm somewhat encouraged by. We've already picked up the infamy. We'll see if that sticks around, but for now, we are notorious with a 79, up to 125 battalions, by the way, and a 1240 power projection. And they back down. Saw that coming. But we get California for now. We are already partially in Utah. In fact, it's going to be incorporated in 15 months. We're going to want to get Utah in the near future. Make our way down. It looks like it's just going to have to happen one state at a time. Bureaucracy is a little bit better as I spent some power to make that happen. Let's go ahead and incorporate those two states. And can we afford that one? Okay, yes, we'll incorporate California as well. Have I ever incorporated Hawaii? Okay, yes, it's nearly done. Quite a few states that are going to be incorporated soon. All right, we're going to take the time and turn up our Navy from the Ironclad to the Monitor. Plus 50 offense and defense. Power projection is going to go up significantly for us. Comes at a cost about 9,000. We need Ironclads for this one. All right, task completed for that. So that is one of our journal entries done. And what do we get for it? Trade Center throughput plus 10% for 9 years. Navy defense for 9 years. Shipyards throughput. I think we'll take the commerce gain. I think at this point, Navy isn't quite a key feature just yet. Our infamy dropped significantly when we got just California. So we're at 57 right now. And there you go. Oregon border dispute was successfully completed as we have finally taken this from Britain, but also finished colonizing Idaho. The progressives have won the latest election with 85%. Massive majority, but these parties have been renamed. So let's see what is the makeup of the Progressive Party. Southern Planters and the Evangelicals are not. That's good. The Armed Forces are in the Progressive Party. It looks like the intelligentsia would want to join them. The trade unions would want to join them. And I think that could give us a pretty... Oh, I'm excited. I think we have a chance at passing some sort of law. I'm going to go into the laws, and there's 1 to 3 laws in particular that I'm kind of looking at. So we'll see if a certain makeup will work for one of those or not. So there's 3 areas that I would like to see change in the laws. One is the health system. Public health insurance is an option, but it has very little support right now. Another is the rights of women. Right now we're at legal guardianship. We could push this to propertied women, but that's only one step. Full women's suffrage, and the others actually have no support right now anyway. And we could theoretically see that step happen. But right now, the easiest to get, one that would push us in the direction we need, would actually give us women's suffrage even as a possibility, is to switch from census suffrage to universal suffrage. For this, we need the trade unions and the armed forces, and we need to keep out the industrialists and the Southern planters. So let's go see if we can make that happen as a government. Main thing is to keep those 2 out. Here's the plan. After carefully calculating what our options are, we're aiming for 2 laws passed in this cycle, 2 big key changes, and we're going to keep a legitimate government at an 81, which is actually better than what we had a moment ago. Armed forces remaining in control. Now this is a little down from what it could be by bringing this many into the government, but adding the intelligentsia, the trade unions, and the petite bourgeoisie. The trade unions, along with the armed forces, are going to give us the suffrage law, which is what we're going to start with, and hopefully pass quite quickly. Then the trade unions, the intelligentsia, and the petite bourgeoisie are going to try to push to get us to the second level, from no rights for women, total ownership to property. Just, at least get that first step and open the path to full women's suffrage, which also passing the first one is going to open that pathway eventually down the road. So we're going to see if we can't get through 2 laws. But it won't let me confirm unless I add the rural folk. The rural folk aren't against either of these laws, so I suppose I could do that. Drops us to a 60 though. What it's going to have to be, I suppose. It's going to take longer. It's going to be harder to pass the 2 laws out. But with a 45% chance, it's going to pass pretty damn quick. We'll make that 28%. What the heck? Changed in the first day. Jeez. Something happened in the coming together of the groups that has lowered our chances, but it's okay. I mean, we still have good odds. Completing a art journal entry. We're going to get 25% migration attraction to the U.S. for the next 5 years, which I'm thrilled about. Immigrants mean more workers, and we love that. We're having minor shortages. Now, checking back in, how are we looking? We're at a 55. Let's wait a little bit longer. Let things settle down a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited by our chances for expansion. It's nice to be painting the map blue. Speaking of painting the map blue, we've been slowly painting the map Africa because we haven't had the tech for malaria prevention, but we're going to have it in 3 weeks. The odds were so strongly in favor of this succeeding when we started, and then a day later it decreased, but it was still favorable. And the debate chance was very, very minimal, and yet that's what's happened. So all those early successes, and then all of a sudden we had the wrong type of government for many, many years, and we finally get the right formation of government, and no. No, things are not off to a good start with this one. James Longstreet and the armed forces, that's going to hurt, but we're now at 17%, and a chance to stall is at 47. Boy, we worked hard to put together a group that could pass this. Well, our efforts are not going unnoticed. We have passed both Russia and Great Britain in the world of prestige, and are closing in now on Great Qing. We are now the number 3 great power. The GDP, which had gone from 25 to 10 million deficit, is now a 1.5 million deficit to Great Britain. It's already overtaken France ahead of us. British Raj, though, that's one we have not eclipsed just yet, but my oh my, are we doing well. And standard of living appears to be 3rd best. Greece ahead of us, and just ahead of us, and Austria doing really well. We're also just 5 million away from Great Britain in population now. Meanwhile, Army's up to a 1251 projection. We're at 50 flotillas and 1250 there as well. So 1250 and 1250. We have a combined 2,500 military strength. It looks like it's not going to pass under this cycle. I think we need to get in and change it. Debate and stall are now almost entirely what's going to happen. So that one has failed, but we did have the other law. We'll see, maybe that one's still a possibility. It somehow happened on its own. We now have property to women instead of legal guardianship. So there you go. We did, without even knowing it, get that one achieved. As we are coming up on 50 notoriety or whatever infamy that we have, looking at Honduras now as an expansion opportunity, trying to kind of sweep through and get all of Central America in the not too distant future. Mexico may side with the enemy, but that actually could be a really good thing, because if they don't back down, we can add war goals and take those 3 states that we're still looking to get from Mexico. Great Britain, we have a year until the truce expires, so I don't see them even being able to join in, and actually, for that matter, same with Mexico. So Guatemala and El Salvador both are joining them. We'll see about Mexico. I don't think either of them honestly can. So we'll add those goals in here as soon as we can, as soon as possible. Okay, Mexico's halfway through and they have not backed down as of yet. So we are still potentially in play. Picking up a lot of rivals though. A lot of people are really upset by the move, by the attempt, what we're trying to do here. But we're into the late phase here. And for now, it's still looking like it may happen. And they didn't back down. So fighting for their survival, this is it. We are making a huge play. Now, what we're going after here is a lot. We have Honduras. We have this portion of El Salvador, not that portion. We have Guatemala. So we would be taking all three of these areas. Then the three remaining American states that have belonged to Mexico. And then Baja California as well, because, you know, we might as well if we're painting the map blue. Now, we have an advantage on both fronts, and the war is on. So, it's happening, folks. Let's see how much is it going to take to force all of these war goals. We could actually do it one by one, and that's kind of the nice thing here. See, we're not gaining rapidly here on this southern front, but once we start to break them down, I think we'll be just fine. It looks like against Mexico, though, we should be strong early. And there you go. We are starting to gain against Mexico. And we're starting to gain against Honduras as well. Bit by bit, the war already beginning to turn in our favor. And the enemies all being contained kind of locally means there's no threat in other regions. For a moment, it looked like Mexico had abandoned their front, but they didn't. They're contained. They're trapped within this pocket here, where we have a slight advantage, and meanwhile we are flying through the rest of Mexico, and the war is already very strongly in our favor. Let's keep our military research going, as it is incredibly useful. Let's take the war propaganda for now. We've nearly got all of Honduras under control. The front is starting to turn in different directions, though, now that we are border to border. The advantage is very minimal up here, but that's with less troops. This is all 40 attacking units. Honduras has capitulated. The state is ours. We've got to reconquer some of that territory, and already have. Now we're working on the El Salvador part, and now making the gains into Guatemala. Meanwhile, this front remains stable, and we are sweeping through Mexico. We've nearly got Guatemala conquered. San Salvador, portion of El Salvador is nearly ours, and there El Salvador has capitulated. So now we have taken both of these. Mexico capitulates. Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Baja California, and Guatemala should happen in just a moment as well, meaning the war is about to end. And there it is. Wow, we have done it. There is your United States plus Hawaii. One actual U.S. state out of the 50 remains not yet in our control. Russia. We do have Quebec, though, so we do have a path already to connect that. We have most of Canada as well. We have Baja California. We have most of Central America as well. Part of South America. We have a huge chunk of Oceania. A lot of these islands are ours. We have half of New Zealand. We have a portion of Australia. We have portions of, well, depending on which portion you're looking at, portions of modern-day Japan or Russia. We have bits of Africa. Not much there yet. Taken a lot. We have taken a lot. We are painting the map blue. Now, this, though, we've just become a pariah. People don't like us. They really, really do not like us. We need to continue to grow and expand our army. This is not just a matter of beating up on little guys. I think at some stage we could be facing big players. All the big players. Everyone teaming up against us. very well could happen. Still 1.5 million behind Great Britain in terms of GDP, but we were also just involved in a war, and we're starting to come out the other side of that. Whatever prestige bump we're going to have, how the economy grows following, we'll have to wait and see. But we're now just 2.5 million people behind Great Britain as well. And like I said, we just fought a war. We are 8th in the world in terms of population, 27th for standard of living. It's a little surprising that we are only 27th when you look here, and it's 2 nations above us, but Sweden, Bavaria rising above us, Grand Duchy of Finland above us. Okay, so they exist, but not major players, small players playing tall, basically. And we are growing and expanding and bringing new portions and weaker nations under our control. We are 5th in GDP right now, and we are so very nearly 4th in that. And you can see the other 3 that are above us: Austria, Great Qing, and British Raj. After we pass Great Britain, British Raj will be the next target. I think we can get past both of those pretty dang quick. Beating Great Qing, France, Austria, easier said than done. France, a little surprising that they have the prestige that they have, because their GDP isn't big, their standard of living isn't huge. Okay, fine, they have population, but it's not massive. It's only 4th. So where do they get all that prestige from? Maybe from a really strong military? Could be part of it. Either way, the first phase is complete, because the lower 48 is now 100% under our control. Lower 48 meaning everything except Alaska, Hawaii. We have Hawaii, so we have 49 out of 50. Yeah, now we just need to turn other directions. Puerto Rico from Spain, that's one to get after. We've already got most of Central America. Man, oh man, I am excited, but also slightly fearful, as we are more and more aggressive, pushing our limits. At some point, everyone's going to turn against us. They don't like us right now, but are they going to unite and attack us for being very imperialistic? Could happen at some point. I don't know what the limit is. That is going to do it for this episode, though, of Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.